Hello, welcome back to the We Are City channel, and it is Champions League final coming very soon. Manchester City with a chance to lift a trophy they have wanted for so long. Been so close to lifting before against Chelsea, but this is City's biggest chance ever, isn't it? Inter Milan in the final, and like we did against Manchester United, I want to do a combined starting 11, Inter Milan and Manchester City, with a stipulation that we must include 3 players from either side at least. So we must have at least three Inter Milan players in this starting 11. We could go with a full Manchester City starting 11. We could easily do that. I wanted to go against the bias if I could and try and get some Inter Milan players in here. And I am going to do that. Now the formation I'm going to go with is one that suits the way City play in possession and also Inter Milan. Because of course Inter Milan don't play a regular 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. Inter Milan do play a 3-5-2. We're going to do that today in the way we go with our formation. So we're going to play, obviously, the goalkeeper, of course. 3 at the back, 5 in midfield, and 2 up top to try and get some balance and try and get 3 Inter Milan players in there as well. Starting with the goalkeeper, and this is where there might be a bit of controversy. I have gone with our first Inter Milan player, Andre Onana. The Cameroonian international is probably as good with his feet as Ederson, if not just a little bit worse. If not just a little bit worse, but he's nearly as good with his feet as Ederson. He's very good on the ball, and he has made some really clutch saves for Inter Milan this season. Some amazing saves in the Champions League, which have kept them in this Champions League and kept them all the way to the final. And that really is what pushed it for me. To get an Inter Milan player in there, I think Andre Onana is definitely a man possible to go in there. So ahead of Ederson, in goes Andre Onana to start off this team. Now for the back 3. And the back 3 is pretty much 2 that you would predict. Start with 2 Manchester City players. On the right-hand side of the back 3, I've gone with John Stones. In the centre of the back 3, I've gone with Ruben Diaz. They are the 2 City centre-backs that everyone knows so well. I mean, one season, City actually conceded, I think Stones and Diaz together scored more goals than they conceded one season for Manchester City in around the 2021 season. That showed how quality they are. They have to be in this starting 11. Stones have been immaculate this season, and so has Ruben Diaz. So they are in this starting 11. On the left-hand side, could have easily gone with Nathan Ake, but like I said, I want to get the opposition team players in there. And I think one of the best left-footed defenders in the world plays for Inter Milan. I think he's a player that if he was on the market, Pep Guardiola would say, give me that centre-back, because he can play in a very attacking position. We've seen him get into attacking places for Inter Milan and put wonderful cross into the box, created 2 or 3 chances for Inter Milan in a game, I can't even remember, it was in the Champions League, could have been against Benfica. He was a standout man, creating from centre-back, and that is Bastione. Bastione looks an absolute top prospect for the future. Manchester City, of course, looking at replacing Aymeric Laporte. Joshko Gvardiol is in that list, but I wouldn't put Bastione far down that list. I think he would be maybe even Pep Guardiola's first choice ahead of Gvardiol, but I think Bastione is unattainable. I think he's going to sign a new deal if he hasn't already at Inter Milan. But I think that back 3 right there, if Manchester City had that back 3, you'd be very calm, wouldn't you? 3 really good players. Stones and Bastione are wonderful going forward, as well as defensively. Diaz, that rock in the centre of that back 3. I think that is a very solid side. But then going to midfield, I mean, with the 2 holy midfielders now, we have the idea of maybe putting Nico Barea in there. I think he's the main pick. Brozovic, Çalhanoğlu, also an option. Mkhitaryan, but I've gone with 2 Manchester City players, and İlkay Gündoğan and Rodri alongside each other. I think Nico Barea ahead of Gundogan was the closest one, but I think right now İlkay Gündoğan, the form he's been in for Manchester City, key player he's been for Manchester City this full season. Inter Milan, of course, haven't won their league title. It was won easily by Napoli. I think City, being led by İlkay Gündoğan, the captain to a Premier League title, you've got to say that he's got to start in there ahead of Nico Barea. So it is Rodri, of course, and İlkay Gündoğan in our midfield too. In the wide areas on the right and left now, interplay with wing-backs Dumfries and Dimarco. Sometimes Matteo Darmian is in there as well. I haven't gone with either of those guys. I've gone with 2 Manchester City players on each side. Jack Grealish on the left. I think he's had his best season in the City shirt. His numbers don't lie, and I think his performances don't lie how good he's been. And somebody who I think could play actually as a wing-back pretty well, and he has sort of played there for Manchester City before in a back 3, is Bernardo Silva. Just an unbelievable footballer, technically one of the most gifted players in the world. He has to start on that side, I think, ahead of Denzel Dumfries. So Bernardo on the right and Grealish on the left. That is a very, very attacking combined 11, this one. In the hole, in the man behind the two strikers up top, we have gone with no other than Kevin De Bruyne. Can you ever make a starting combined 11, including Manchester City and another team, without Kevin De Bruyne being in there? I don't think so. I don't think any other midfield in the world starts ahead of KDB. He is obviously in there. And then we go into the forward line. Two players who picked themselves, really. We could have gone with Alvarez, who starts ahead of this man for Argentina, but this man is captained Inter Milan to a Champions League final. It is Lautaro Martinez. He starts, I believe, in a combined 11 with Manchester City, and I actually think he would have a really good strike partnership with Erling Haaland on either side of him. Haaland and Martinez. I know Martinez couldn't get in that World Cup Argentina squad. He was pretty poor in the opening games of the World Cup, if you remember, only a few months ago now. Julian Alvarez started ahead of him. Alvarez was the key man for Argentina up top, not Lautaro Martinez. But he has led into a Champions League final since then. I think that his performance level has picked up. He's won trophies into this season in their sort of domestic cups. So I think Lautaro Martinez has to be given the chance. Like I said, we have to get 3 Inter players in there, and that's the side we go with. What do you think about that team, guys? Do you think that team combined 11 would win the Premier League? Would it win Serie A? And would it win the Champions League, that combined team? I actually think it would do. I think attacking-wise, with, of course, Pep Guardiola as manager, not Inzaghi, I think we'd see a very, very good team, a team that achieved a lot. I think Manchester City would easily, if you offered City Bastione, they'd take him. If you offered Manchester City Onana, I think they'd take him. And I think if you offered Manchester City Lautaro Martinez, they might take him as well. That would be a wonderful side, especially if City were to play in that formation with 2 strikers. Let us know your combined 11 in the comments down below. Like I said, if you're an Inter Milan fan perhaps watching this, you've got to get 3 City players in there. If you're a Manchester City fan watching this, you've got to get 3 Inter Milan players in there. Let's see if you do anything different to me. Maybe you think that Onana isn't then in there, you put Edison in, and you take out Gundogan and put Barella in. I'd be very interested in how you guys do it as well. And of course, let us know your score predictions for City versus Inter Milan, the Champions League final coming very soon. It will be live on the channel with alternative commentary, which is going to be so exciting. We did a live stream for the Champions League final a few years ago against Chelsea. It ended unfortunately with a City defeat. This time, hopefully we see City lift that Champions League trophy. Please do like the video if you haven't already. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. Champions League final so soon. We'll see you next time.